21. I have a little cold, so forgive me if I'm trying to suck on something so I don't cough. So you can start with invocation prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Shrinvata Swakata Krishna Punyashavana Kirtana Hariyantahosya Bhajani Satam Ashtaprayesha Babadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Tamashloke Bhakti Bhavatina Ishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. So, trying to remember the melody, Brahma Samhita. Advaitanu Sarato Hayaste Soham Rati Nripatayo Yata Ananamanti Sarvam Kshanena Tad Abuddha Asad Ishariktam Basman Utam Kuhaka Radham Ivo Tam Usyam Tadvaitanu Stadishava Sarato Hayaste Soham Rati Nripatayo Yata Anamanti Sarvam Shanena Tad Adhut Asad Isharitam Vasman Utam Kuhaka Radham Evokta Ushayam. Excuse me. Anybody else want to chant?
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I can give a try. Hare Krishna.
Please do.
Tadvai dhanusta ishava sarato hayaste soham rati nrupatayo yata anamanti sarvam kshanena tad abud asadris ishariktam bhashman hutam kuhakaradam ivoktamushyan. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, I want to try, Prabhu.
Right. Please do.
Tadvai dhanusta Ishavah Sarato Hayaste Soham Rati Nripatayo Yata Anamanti Sarvam Kshanena Tad Abud Asad Isha Rittam Bashwan Hutam Kuhaka Radam Givotam Usham. Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. Not
Krishna.
able to recite it well.
Neither did I. We're all practicing. Anybody else? Is anybody else there?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, sorry, I just joined.
Yeah, please do.
Tadvai dhanasta ishavaha sarato hayaste soham rati nripatayo yata anamanti sarvam kshanena tad abud asad ikshariktam basman hutam kuhakaradam evoktam oshyam. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Anybody else there? Tat, the same, by certainly. Danute, the same bow. Ishvaha, arrows. Saha, the very same. Rataha, chariot. Haya, te, the very same horses. Saham, I am the same Arjuna. Rati, the chariot fighter. Nratayaha, all the kings. Yataha, whom? Anamanti, offered their respects. Sarvam, all. Kshanena, at a moment's notice. Tat, all those. Adhut, became. Asat, useless. Isha, because of the Lord. Riktam, being void. Basman, ashes. Uttam, offering butter. Kuhaka, vadham, money created by magical feats. Eva, like that. Uptam, sown. Ushyam, in barren land. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. I have the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses. I use them as the same Arjuna, to whom all the kings offered their due respects. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them, at a moment's notice, have become null and void. And exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, or sowing seeds on barren land. As we have discussed more than once, one should not be puffed up by borrowed plumes. All energies and powers are derived from the Supreme Source, Lord Krishna, and they act as long as he desires and cease to function as soon as he withdraws. All electrical energies are received from the powerhouse, and as soon as the powerhouse stops supplying energy, the bulbs are of no use. In a moment's time, such energies can be generated or withdrawn by the supreme will of the Lord. Material civilization without the blessings of the Lord is child's play only. As long as the parents allow the child to play, it is all right. As soon as the parents withdraw, the child has to stop. Human civilizations and all activities, therefore, must be dovetailed with the supreme blessings of the Lord. And without this blessing, all advancement of human civilization is like decoration on a dead body. It is said here that a dead civilization and its activities are something like clarified butter on ashes, the accumulation of money by magic wand, and the sowing of seeds in a barren land. Om Jnana Trimidandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuramritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupagram Hayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sahagrajatam Saganam Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Varijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakanvitam Scha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swamini Tinamini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vicharini Nirvishesha Sunyavari Prastita Deshatani. Vanchakarpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhaivacha Titanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Mahavadayaya Krishna Prema Vardayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Vishe Namaha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Stute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Begging at the feet of Guru Gauranga and the Vaishnavas, I can speak something that is pleasing to their ears and hearts. All of you, please pray that I may speak something that we can all benefit from with clarity and enthusiasm. I'm the very same Gandiva bow, the same arrows, the same chariot drawn by the same horses. I am the same Arjuna to whom all the kings offer their due respect. But in the absence of Lord Krishna, all of them, at a moment's notice, have become null and void, exactly like offering clarified butter on ashes, accumulating money with a magic wand, sowing seeds on barren land. Arjuna's continuing with his description of what has happened in Dwarka and on his way back. If I remember properly, he the last verses, I guess I don't have to remember properly, I can just go back here for a moment. Yeah, he was he was trying to fight with some men on his way back from Dwarka, visiting with Krishna. But Krishna left the planet. So what I feel from these verses is Krishna's separation, Arjuna's separation from Krishna. This word absence makes me really think about how Arjuna is in a great great distress in his heart that Krishna has disappeared. So I think we can all empathize with Arjuna in some way, because I think we've all experienced a separation from somebody we love. In this world, conditioned souls, we are attached to so many external things, be it our bank balance, our house, our mothers, our fathers, our brothers, our sisters, our friends, our wives, our husbands, our children, so many things. We have so many various attachments that are linked within this world. And when we lose one of them, or we're not in contact or in touch with one of them for some time, we can experience some separation. I think everybody can agree. We now we have, these phones that we can call and videos. We can see them. But when they leave their body, we have only the remembrance. So Arjuna is remembering Krishna and how Krishna empowered him to do everything that he did. He is a celebrated warrior of the Battle of Kurukshetra. And throughout the Mahabharata, you hear of the wonderful things that Krishna and Arjuna did together. From going to Yamaraj to get the sons of the Brahmin, to going to the heavenly planets, to defeating so many warriors on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So many wonderful pastimes of Krishna and Arjuna's friendship. So Arjuna is in great love, remembering and feeling separation, which conditioned souls we can't fathom. Can't fathom the love that Arjuna has for Krishna. We can, until one experiences love for Krishna, we can only really theoretically understand through Shastra, or if we're fortunate, through the experience of those sadhus who have love for Krishna. Like oftentimes, Srila Prabhupada would, I guess not often, there was a few times, probably only one or two or three maybe, times where Srila Prabhupada would be speaking and he'd break down crying, and his love for Krishna. And when you hear those moments where he's either experiencing and relishing Gaur Nitai's compassion for the fallen souls of Kali Yuga, and how he's there spreading the movement of the Mahamantra chanting, Krishna consciousness, Krishna bhakti throughout the world, especially the Western world. He was weeping. There's another time where he was giving a lecture on an installation of one deities in LA, Chota deities. And he was talking about how we should pray to Krishna. And as he was expressing the words like, this is all I have. All I can give. This little bit, please accept it. And when he was speaking like this, you could hear, and he'd choke up, saying, please accept me. Please accept this little bit I can do. This, by associating with such sadhus, we begin to understand the mood in which to approach Krishna. So Arjuna, failing this separation, is remembering his experiences as Krishna's great friend. Oftentimes he would lay about, right? In the Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna showed his universal form, he explained, my gosh, you're you're the Supreme Lord, and what I was laying with you, chatting with you, sharing food with you on the same plate. He asked for his forgiveness. It's because his mood of Aishwarya was prominent in Arjuna's relationship with Krishna. Though he's one of Krishna's greatest friends. So it's friendship in the mood of Aishwarya, where he still recognized Krishna as the Supreme Lord. During these times of friendship, he would, that wasn't a prominent mood, as you can see. But when he recognized it, he was begging for some forgiveness, that he was so casual with Krishna. This is Aishwarya, a mood of awe and reverence, of seeing Krishna as the Supreme Lord and reciprocating in that way. In Vrindavan, you see like cowherd boys who are also in pure sakya, pure friendship. They don't have such things. When they see the demigods worshipping Krishna after he lifted Govardhan Hill, they didn't say, "Oh, Krishna, you're the Almighty Supreme Lord. Sorry that we punched you and we jumped on your back and we kicked you with our foot." But they started mocking the demigods by worshipping Krishna with all the paraphernalia that they had. This is the difference between the Aishwarya and the Madhurya, the awe and reverence and the sweetness of places like Dwarka and Mathura and Vrindavan. All are relishable because they have to do with Krishna. So one of the other points that are being mentioned here is that without Krishna, there's nothing good. Like offering, when you're doing a yajna, you're offering ghee into the fire. But if the fire goes out and all you're doing is offering into ashes, it's useless. Money accumulated by some magical feat, it's just an illusion. There's no substance. Sowing seeds in a land that won't grow anything is useless labor. So oftentimes Srila Prabhupada would use the example of if no matter what qualities that somebody has, they're all zeros. You can have so many zeros. If you line zeros up and you add them together or multiply them or whatever mathematic calculation you want to do, 0 equals 0 no matter what. And until you add a 1 there, it is 0. So Srila Prabhupada would say like this 1 is Krishna. So when we add Krishna into our lives, they amount to something. When we utilize the abilities we have in Krishna service, that is adding the 1. So the sadhus, our acharyas, have told us we should begin like Prahlad Maharaj from the age of the young age to begin as engaging in this process of devotional service. So even any young child can also engage, because hearing, chanting, remembering, worshiping, becoming one's friend, becoming a servant, worshiping the feet of the Lord, offering everything, your entire life to the Lord. The 9 processes of devotional service can be done by anyone. In any one of these 9 processes, when done for the pleasure of the Lord, can manifest, can invoke the Lord's mercy, so we can attain pure love. Because that's the goal of human life, pure love, prema bhakti, to love Krishna with all of our heart, mind, soul, with our entire existence. So Prahlad Maharaj spoke this verse, Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam, these 9 processes of the devotional service. We engage in any one of them. Best, wonderful if we can do it as young children. But whatever stage of life that we come in contact with bhakti is glorious, and we should utilize such opportunity in this human form of life to engage in this process. So Arjuna feeling separation, this is what our acharyas tell us is the mood in which we should approach Krishna. And the greatest example of this mood is Lord Chaitanya. Coming in the mood of Srimati Radharani, he was always feeling separation from Krishna. You don't hear Lord Chaitanya saying, I have Krishna, I have attained Krishna. He gave us the process of devotional service which awakens love and the mood of the residents of Vrindavan. This was his gift to us Kali Yuga souls, Kali Yuga, fallen Kali Yuga souls who are very much interested in the enjoyments of this world, eating, sleeping, mating, defending. We're so distracted by our attachments that we spoke on earlier that we don't take seriously to this devotional path. But by the sadhu sangha, we can gain some inspiration. Can see we can see how mercifully they're distributing this process. Srila Narottam Das Thakur said that in order to understand the mood of Vrindavan, we must approach the 6 Goswamis headed by Rupa and Raghunath. Rupa Raghunath Pade Hoy Beya Kuti Kabe Hama Bhadra Habose Yugala Priti. That by studying the books left by the 6 Goswamis, who are empowered by Lord Chaitanya, who was always feeling this separation from Krishna. There was one time, Sanatan Goswami, let's see what they said. There's a time when Lord Chaitanya said, if I had any love for Krishna, I would have given up this life. Due to separation. But the fact that I'm still in this body means that I have no love for Krishna. So, Srila Prabhupada says one should not be puffed up by borrowed plumes. Whatever abilities we have is by the mercy of Krishna, Guru, and the sadhus, the Vaishnavas. So Lord Chaitanya not only speaking about the separation, but the humility needed to cultivate prema bhakti, love for Krishna. And in the later days, he would, while he was chanting, remembering the pastimes, while he was chanting, he would spontaneously have these visions where he would be performing seva in Vrindavan. And when the vision would break, he wouldn't say, "Oh, how wonderful am I that I got to see Krishna." But he would lament, "Where's Krishna gone? I have not attained Krishna. Where is he?" And the six Goswamis, following that footsteps, "Hey Radhe Brajadevi ki chalalite, hey Nanda Suno Kotaha. Oh Radharani, where are you? Oh Krishna, where are you?" They would roam around Vrindavan. "Are you at Vamsivad? Are you at Govardhan? Are you near the Jamuna? Where are you?" And they'd weep in love, as Srinivasacharya says in the songs of the six Goswamis. They would roam around looking for Krishna, begging for Krishna. So these states of Krishna consciousness are very highly elevated. For a conditioned soul who is struggling to chant the holy name with attention and affection, you can be like, "Oh, this is so far away." But our acharyas have given us processes in which we can awaken such moods, such feelings, and such realizations. And they begin by hearing and chanting the holy name and hearing about the pastimes of the Lord and discussing amongst each other these with other devotees. Sadhu Sangha, we can see how the advanced devotees are experiencing Krishna within the name and the form and the qualities and the pastimes of the Lord. And when we hear and chant in their association, and with the association of like-minded devotees, we begin to cleanse the heart of the attachments of the things of this world. And when we begin to identify as a servant of Krishna, no longer identifying with the body, you see, well, these devotees, they're also suffering right now. I have a cold and it's affecting me so much I can't chant nicely. I have a hard time concentrating because I'm identifying with this body. Oh, I am sick, I am not sick, but the body is sick. I am a spirit soul, my consciousness, when the consciousness can be fixed in this eternal position, whatever's happening with the body is of little consequence. You'd see Srila Prabhupada, he was sick for so much. There's times, I think, so many times where he was feeling not well and he would just carry on with his service. There was one sadhu, he had tumors all over his body. His back was full of tumors. And he was not disturbed by it. He was always just absorbed in chanting. But his disciples didn't, want him to leave the body from this cancer, so they arranged for some doctor to come and wanted to take him out of Vrindavan. He said, "No, I'm not leaving Vrindavan. If you're going to do anything, you can do it here, right at my bhajan kutir." The doctor's like, "No way." It's like, "You'll die." It's like, "We need to put you under and this and that." He said, "No, no need." He's like, "I'll chant my nam, and after a few minutes, you do whatever you need to do. It will not disturb me." He started chanting and went into samadhi. And they began to carve up his back and took all these tumors out of his back. And he was absorbed in his bhajan. These are very advanced devotees, but we can get there. by patience, determination, enthusiasm. Slowly by slowly, I was coming across a few verses that I thought we could read through, where Prahlad Maharaj is speaking to his friends, young friends. So many, this is wonderful, a very wonderful chapter. I don't want to go through the whole thing. There's just a few verses that I wanted to take. I forget what chapter it is, so I'm going to the top. Yeah, Canto 7, Chapter 7. So much nectar. But I randomly came across these verses yesterday, and it kind of fit like what I was feeling talking in here. So we'll read from 32, and I think it's to 37 or 38. One should always remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his localized representative as Paramatma, who's situated in the core of every living entity's heart. Thus, one should offer respects to every living entity according to that living entity's position and manifestation. So here he's saying, always remember the Supreme Lord, and as Paramatma. But also, Krishna is reminding me of, in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is speaking to Arjuna, and he's giving different examples of what represent him in this world. Like, I am the taste of water. That every beautiful thing in this material world is but a spark of my splendor. Of what is it? Of like of aquatics, I am the shark or something like that. I can't remember all of them, but you can find in Bhagavad Gita. I don't know what chapter, but maybe somebody at the end can say which chapter it is. So we can look, and then everything we see in this world that has some glorious thing, we can understand that it is Krishna. It is it is only by, it is just a that we can remember Krishna. That's what I'm trying to say. We can remember Krishna through these things. So it gives us the opportunity of remembering him in all of these different aspects. Like one time, Srila Prabhupada they were watching a sunset, him and disciples, and they said, Prabhupada, isn't it so beautiful? He said, oh, so beautiful. But if you think the art is beautiful, you should see the artist. Right? So, so many ways Krishna gives us the opportunity to remember him. We have to take advantage. So 33. By these activities of remembering, I think he gave a couple more up here too. Yeah, accepting a bona fide spiritual master, rendering service to him. Whatever one has in his possession should be offered to the spiritual master, and in the association of saintly persons and devotees who should worship the Lord, hear his glories. With faith, glorify the transcendental qualities and activities of the Lord. Always meditate on his lotus feet, worship the deity, strictly according to the instructions of Shastra and Guru. So by engaging in these things, one is able to cut the influence of the enemies, namely lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, and jealousy. When one is thus situated, one can render service to the Lord. This way, one surely attains a platform of loving service to the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj was one of the first, and is a great example of someone who is not interested in a bargaining type relationship. His devotional service is not based on what I can get from the Lord. You call it like conditional devotional service. I will do this, and you will do this for me, right? I think he called it like a business transaction. But I don't want to have a business transaction with you. I just want to serve you. This is the love. So the real enemies, lust, anger, greed, illusion, madness, jealousy, these things be cut away by these processes. One who is situated in devotional service is certainly a controller of his senses, and thus he is a liberated person. And such a liberated person, the pure devotee, hears of the transcendental qualities and activities of Lord's incarnations for the performance of various pastimes. His hairs stand on end, the hairs on his body stand on end. Tears fall from the eyes, and in his spiritual realization, his voice falters. Sometimes he very openly dances, sometimes sings loudly, and sometimes cries as he experiences his transcendental jubilation. These are very high standards of devotional service. We may be thinking, oh, wow. Again, he's saying here, once these enemies, the influence of lust, anger, greed are no longer, we will experience these things. But it takes patience. It takes determination. And it takes enthusiasm. One time my friend wrote Srila Prabhupada was saying like, oh, I'm struggling in so many ways. He said, you need these three things: patience, determination. Well, first he said enthusiasm, determination, and patience. Rupa Goswami talks about this in the Nectar of Instruction, Upadeshamrita. You need these things, especially patience. We'll come to that later. When a devotee becomes like a person haunted by a ghost, he laughs, very loudly chants about the qualities of the Lord. Sometimes he sits on a platform. He sits to perform meditation, and he offers respects to every living entity, considering him a devotee of the Lord. Constantly breathing very heavily, he becomes careless of social etiquette and loudly chants like a madman, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Oh my Lord, O Lord of the universe. This is Premi Bhakta. The devotee is then freed from all material contamination because he constantly thinks of the Lord's pastimes, and because his mind and body have been converted to spiritual qualities. Because of his intense devotional service, his ignorance, material consciousness, and all kinds of material desires are completely burned to ashes. This is the stage at which one can achieve the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. So this verse here, this first sentence, the real problem of life is a repetition of birth and death, which is like a wheel rolling repeatedly up and down. This wheel, however, completely stops when one is in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In other words, by the transcendental bliss realized from constant engagement in devotional service, one is completely liberated from material existence. All learned men know this. Therefore, my friends, sons of the Asuras, immediately begin meditating upon and worshipping the Supersoul within everyone's heart. So, when we're chanting the holy name, this is our practice. We're trying to develop love for Krishna, the Lord of Vrindavan, the life and soul of Vrindavan, the threefold bending form, whose dark complexion and yellow dhoti attracts our hearts. This Krishna, while we're chanting the holy name, we should be meditating, hearing and meditating on Krishna. There's a few different, this is just like an overview of Smarnam. So Jiva Goswami is outlining these things in the Sandarbhas. This is just a quick breakdown that makes it kind of easy to see the progression in the different stages. I figured we'd quickly touch on, and for your so that we can begin to, so we can remember these things. He outlines this remembrance meditation. These things are like kind of are simile, like a, yes, I think that's the word, simile. We used for the same thing. So when we're chanting the holy name, it's a meditation. What are we meditating on? First, Srila Prabhupada said, hear, just hear, right? And from hearing nicely, we begin to hearing the name, and then from there, his form. We begin to meditate on the form. And then his qualities. Rupa Goswami gives 64 qualities in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu that we can meditate on and begin to reflect on. Reflecting the Lord's qualities, manifest in the devotee's mind. As we are chanting, we can begin to remember Krishna's different qualities. And eventually, Krishna's pastimes begin to manifest within the heart. And this is all simply by chanting the holy name, because Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Punashudho Nityamukto Baninatvam Namanamino. The holy name is pure and transcendental, and it is this is full of so much rasa. And this is all because his name is non-different than the named. So the concentration, the meditation, the remembrance that we were just talking about begins from a very simple, very simple, just remembering. You say Krishna and you think of Krishna. You think of the dark bluish cowherd boy, son of Nanda Maharaj. Concentrating the mind on a specific aspect of Krishna, his beauty. He plays the flute maybe or something. And that's dharana, concentration. Dhyana, meditation. We begin to think more deeply. In each of these stages, they become more and more fixed, like this Dhruvanu Smriti, fixed meditation becomes. The first stages they're just fleeting, they happen every once in a while. You have to bring your mind, come back and remember. And dhyana is a little bit more concentrated. You get more, it's more like taking the time. But Dhruvanu Smriti is fixed, a spontaneous fixed meditation on the Lord's pastimes that becomes more intense. These things take practice. And then samadhi, where one is deeply, deeply absorbed, when they're actually experiencing pastimes. They're doing some seva for Krishna. So these different processes develop one after another. But it's important to know, it's important to set some goals, what do they call it? When we're doing yagyas, we set a not a samskara, but an intention. Forget the word. Sankalpa. So in our bhajan, we said a sankalpa. I want prema bhakti. Okay, that's a big, it's the goal of life. Then we can set smaller ones and progress by the Lord's mercy. It's all by Krishna's arrangement, Krishna's mercy. But we don't see the results right away. Te palmam sumamekshmano bhujana evatma kripat vipakam ridvag vapur bir vidhanan namaste jivatayo muktipade sadayabak. My dear Lord, one who earnestly awaits for you to bestow your causeless mercy on him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past deeds and offering you respectful obeisances within his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So we see throughout Krishna's pastimes, especially within like 10th canto, you have persons like Kamsa or Shishupal who were very envious and basically hated Krishna. But because they were always remembering Krishna, they became Krishna conscious. Not favorably, but they became. So what to speak of those of us who are trying to remember Krishna with love? He will reciprocate, but in his own time. So we must be patient and continue with enthusiasm, patience, and determination to remember the Lord's mercy, remember his pastimes, and ultimately his holy name, where he has appeared in this age of Kali. Kali Kala Namarupi Krishna Avatar. He has appeared in this avatar as a holy name to enter the heart and become like a sweet street sweeper, to cleanse the heart of all of these contaminations. So this is Lord Chaitanya's mercy on us. Hare Krishna. We have 5 minutes. So please, if you have questions or comments, please, or corrections, you can share.
Hare Krishna, Bala, Nitai Prabhu. Thank you very much. I know despite having difficulty with your voice, still giving class this morning and sharing wonderful insights from those words. Thank you very much, Prabhu. And from last couple of weeks, we have been discussing about Arjuna being powerless without Krishna, and there are various references and analogies Srila Prabhupada gave, and you gave very good, wonderful insights from these, especially when you mentioned about reminding us that we are all zeros without Krishna, the only one who gives us value. And that was very powerful and connecting. And the various analogies which Srila Prabhupada has used, right? Like especially pouring ghee or like that decorating the dead body is very nice. And your explanation on the Aishwarya and Madhurya and with various other scriptural references from 7th canto, that was very nice. Thank you very much. At the last is about the stages of Smaranam. Very good, Prabhu. Thank you. Thank you very much. Devotees, if you have any references, please do share. I see Paramakarna Prabhu has posted a message. Sweet class, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Prabhu. And Ramakrishna Prabhu, thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhu. What a wonderful, sweet class like Paramahansa Prabhu said. I really liked how you walked us through the 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj's instructions to his demoniac friends, especially what you highlighted about him surrendering to the Lord rather than having any conditional transaction. It was very nice. And then so many different points, Prabhu, like about Smaranam and about the Goswamis and how they roam around in Vrindavan searching for Radha and Krishna. And just, I have to go back and meditate on all of these again. It was very, very sweet, Prabhu. And finally, we talked about having patience. Pratyenukampa, that verse is very close to my heart. It makes, every time I think we go through tribulations, we'll have to remind ourselves that Bhagavan is definitely, like hearing us out and just have to be patient. Yeah, wonderful, Prabhu. Thank you so much again. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the class, Prabhuji. One point you mentioned, just adding to Anita Mataji's. So even Mahaprabhu, when he was here and feeling the separation, but he never expressed that he has attained Krishna. So our acharyas as well, and it's kind of eternal feeling that one would like to have such a separation from Krishna. So it is not the end of it, just okay, once we have the Krishna, that is it. No, even after we reach him, then again the separation continues. That is so nice. Yeah, that is true as well. Yeah, it's an eternal thing. So wherever we are, whether in the spiritual world or even in the material world, when we follow Prabhupada's process, and we can try aim to have such a feeling.
Yes, even when Srimati Radharani sits with Krishna, she feels separation sometimes, thinking of him leaving. So it's a very, very deep, loving mood.
Thank you,
you.
Prabhuji. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna. Any questions or corrections? Thank you, everybody, for expressing your appreciation and accepting me.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Should we end?
Yes, Prabhuji. Vancha kalpatarpyascha
Okay.
kalpasambhubhyaycha
Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavim. Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.